boy, am I in need of a haircut. So, and FYI, not LARPing to look like John Wick. I actually have to dress this way for my actual job. Anyways, so, doing all the HK stuff, man, I just love firearm history, man, the gunfathers and everything like that. Like HK, I don't know, to me, like I've said it before, they were like the Smith and Wesson of Europe. But like what I love so much about is, the G3 rifle, battle rifle. I mean, it's just freaking badass, man. 7.62 51 308. I mean, it's just one of those iconic rifles. You just love reading about it. I love reading the specs on it, everything like that. So awesome. Then of course MP5, man. Who can't top that one? That video will be dropping shortly here. But I mean, it's like everybody knows what an MP5 is, and movies, video games, military. Some of my favorite veteran channels on here, Mike Ritland, Mike Drop. It's exciting and it's cool because like when he was in the Navy or whatnot, he was talking about a time right around Iraq, the invasion of Iraq, and back in 03 or whatnot, and his SEAL team. You'll have to hear the whole story on his podcast, Mike Drop, but I just love it. He's talking with I can't remember whom about using the MP5s. That's what the SEALs had when they were back in that time, MP5. And then of course there's always the awesome SIG P226. But MP5 is just, I don't know, it's just a cool looking gun. It's lightweight, 9mm, selector fire. I feel like machine pistols from that point forward. I mean, of course, I look at the MP40 that was manufactured in the early 1900s, and you look at the MP5 as like perfection right off that, and then of course a lot of other platforms very similar to the MP5, or similar to, I mean, moving down the road, you've got the SIG MXP and all that stuff, very similar, but that one's a little closer to the AR platform. But like the MP5, 30 round mags, it's sleek, it's got the cool, you use the single point sling on it, everything like that. And I don't know, just the mechanics of it, it's just so interesting to me. Using that delayed blowback, which has become a huge operating system in weapon systems, modern weapons systems. And these guys were doing it back in the 50s and 60s, figuring this stuff out. And I just think that's amazing to me. I mean, that is some of the coolest shit ever. It's like when you think of Kalashnikov and the development of the AK-47. Most simple designs, right? Simple common designs. AK, they use the gas piston system, whatever, SKS, same thing, similar. And then, you got the gas impingement system, which is what Stoner, developed when they were developing the original ARs or whatnot. And then you get to HK and they've got the delayed blowback. And I think, man, how these guys even think of this stuff, because like, okay, we look at the AK, piston, recoil spring, gas goes up, cycles, kind of a more simple, right? You look at the impingement system on the ARs, a lot of people don't like it. I don't mind it as much, but I mean, blowing the gas through and then hitting a recoil buffer in the buffer tube rather than a recoil spring on a piston and whatnot. So you have that, and then the HK, kind of similar in a sense. So, I mean, for these guys to come up with that innovation just blows my mind how amazing it is. I mean, it's just, in the German ingenuity, of military firearms or ordnance or anything along those lines, it's just always so advanced, especially for its time. And so what I love about Heckler and Koch so much, I mean, granted, they worked for Mauser. They were all engineers and financiers and all this stuff for Mauser prior to World War II. And then, of course, when the French came rolling through or whatnot, they took out the Overham factory where Mauser was manufacturing majority of the arms and everything along the line for the Nazi Party when, Hitler's Third Reich and everything. They salvaged what little bit they could out of it. Of course, they were pardoned because they weren't viewed as war criminals. Hey, Antonino, thanks for dropping in, buddy. they got that pardon because they weren't considered, war criminals or whatnot, whatever the case may be. They've got their dark history there, like all firearm manufacturers do, especially the 40s in Germany. Chances are, well, you developed some stuff for the Nazis, whether you liked them or not. I know that was already kind of gone over on a different podcast or whatever, but I look at it, they salvage, they start making like tools and things like that, start to profit, start to do better. All of a sudden, it's like, okay, we've got the Cold War here. We need to arm our law enforcement. We need to, rearm our National Guard or military or whatnot. And, HK stepped in and with that battle rifle, I mean, they shaped everything. I mean, they were already manufacturing parts for, what is it? I can never say this one right. CETME? Fuck. Anyways, and that's why if you look at it, that rifle looks very similar to the HK or the G33. Sorry, excuse me. But they perfected it though. And then you look at Heckler and Koch, and I know Stoner started doing this as well, but they're venturing off away from, using wood furniture for your grips and your butt stocks. They're using synthetics and polymers and things that are more durable, lighter, etc. And, in the 1950s, mid 1950s up to 1966, and then going a little bit further, up to about 69, 4 of the most used rifles or machine pistols were all developed in that time frame, and a lot of them, majority of them, are still used to this very day. And we're at going on, 75 years for some of them. I mean, how crazy is that? It's just to think like, you look at percussion firearms, or flintlocks or anything along that line, then think 75 years later, would they still be using those? Well, if you look at the 1800s, no. All this stuff, just the innovation, just moving progressively so fast. That's just fascinating thing about German ingenuity when it comes to firearm manufacturing and the science behind it. Heckler and Koch, they, the other interesting thing about it is Heckler has his name on the company. Oh, you do? That's sweet, dude. Hell yeah. Dude, it's just, you can't top them. You look at it and it's the most simple designs and just how uncomplicated it is, and it's so fucking effective. Now I know a lot of people like the AR. Don't get me wrong. I love my AR-15s and M16s and all that stuff. They're hella fun to shoot, but it's just like, it's a very complicated firearm. Yeah, you've got your takedown pin, pop. You can flip the top right off your lower, all that stuff. But you look at these ones, you pop one pin out, the whole thing comes apart. Pop one pin in, put it right back together. It doesn't have so many springs and different parts and whatnot. That was the one thing with with the AK and then with MP5s, it's freaking awesome. But the MP5 being a perfection of what the MP40 was, being lighter, using aluminums and starting to use lighter metals, and of course the development into different types of metals for firearms, was also in that time frame. So in that sense. Now it's crazy to think though, because I can't think of one really good action movie that doesn't have an MP5 in it. You've got Die Hard, you've got Lethal Weapon, you've got, and those are just in the 80s. But, it's fascinating, it's interesting to me, I love it. The fact that Heckler never lived long enough to even see firearms actually manufactured out of their company, it's kind of crazy. But Koch and Seidel, they really took it up, stepped it up the next level. So, that's the cool thing about it. There's a lot of awesome ingenuity and stuff like that with, even people all over the world in firearm manufacturing. But yeah, just that region, man, they nail it. I was looking up, let's see, what was it? One of my other Gunfather series I haven't dropped yet, on Benjamin Henry. I'm reading all about this type of stuff and these type of repeating firearms at the time, and there was Browning, you had Colt, you had Smith & Wesson, Oliver Winchester in the United States, and you look at a lot of that stuff, They're going through all of it, and then they're saying that the lever action rifle is the only actual rifle or weapon system, hunting system, whatever the hell you want to call it, firearm, uh, that was invented in the United States. Now, you look at like revolvers, okay, those were actually invented in the United Kingdom. You look at shotguns, Italy. You look at semi-automatic pistols and machine pistols, and that's Austria, Germany, that region of the world. And it's although Browning, 1911, you had the 1903s and all these other older pistols. These guys, I mean, Luger and people that worked for Mauser and all that stuff. I mean, just the innovation they had. I mean, it's freaking awesome. I love it. Great part of firearm history. All the conflicts that these firearms have been in because everybody wants them because they're badass and that they can be dependable. The only firearm I ever had an issue with that I actually had to send back factory was a Walther PPK, and the funny thing about that is the one that I had wasn't manufactured in Germany. Mine was manufactured in Arkansas because it was from that plant. So, it's funny to think of these things, but I don't know. That's just kind of my rant. I'm excited. I got more HK stuff coming out. I've got some fun range footage out shooting. Shooting some HK wet rifles and pistols and stuff like that. I'm going to get worked out in here for you guys. I think you'll enjoy it. But, so there's that. The ghost gun thing. All right. So we've all been talking about the CEO getting shot. We've all talked about, all that. There's a lot of pretty funny jokes that are kind of out of line and inappropriate, but everybody in the rage. Now, something funny about this. Why do they have to make it about the ghost gun all of a sudden? There was a dude that murdered somebody, ghost gun or not, people are going to get guns regardless. And so this is my point why Second Amendment's important, why it's stupid that they want to take guns away from law-abiding citizens and things like that, because criminals are going to always have guns. Look at this dude. I mean, he flat out did it illegally. He could have gone, and he had a squeaky clean record. He could have easily gone into a gun shop. Yeah, well, and see, Sonny, ghost guns, though, I think it's bullshit. I quite frankly, I hate that term. I think it's complete, utter bullshit. Before ghost guns became popular or whatever, they were actually called orphans. What an orphan gun is whomever was developing or manufacturing a firearm, we'll just use, for instance, SIG. We'll use SIG, for instance. They want to get some military contracts. They're going to be making some prototypes, new pistols, everything along that line to meet specifications that whatever military that they're getting this contract with is requiring. Now, it's not like they just make one pistol and that's it. They're going to have they're going to have quite a bit of their prototype or whatnot to go take in for testing and things all along that line. But it's orphans is basically one of those guns, getting into the hands of somebody who doesn't work for those factories or anything along that line. And, ghost guns is, it's the same concept, but, it's complete bullshit, though, because, ghost guns are so dangerous. Well, that's why regular citizens should be able to buy guns, because then they can protect themselves from people who can't legally buy them, who are going to have ghost guns and illegal shit. This kid, squeaky clean record. He could have gone and bought a firearm the right way, legally. Seems to me everybody, he wanted to kind of get caught. He's definitely got some stuff going on. But he chose to get a ghost gun to go commit this crime. Not a regular firearm that was legally bought. If that makes sense, you guys can see where I'm getting at with this. So, somebody murdered, but politicians on the left are trying to make it into a ghost gun issue, which is it's absurd. The fact that they would do that, it makes no sense whatsoever. This is a person murdered. It should be about the person murdered. Not that, this murder would have never happened if there weren't ghost guns out on the streets. Well, guess what? Because if there weren't ghost guns out on the streets, he would have went and bought it legally too. This kid didn't have a dirty record. So, there's that. Funny thing, you guys have to check this out. I'm very curious about people's opinion on this. My wife pointed this out to me, actually. So look in some of the pictures that you see of this dude, this Luigi dude on camera, right? He's got his hood on, he's got his mask, you know, you can kind of see his forehead, whatever. Okay, look at his eyebrows where he's wearing the mask and the hoodie. Then look at the picture of them taking his mugshot and everything along that line. Now you tell me, how fast does eyebrow hair grow? I have a unibrow, dude. I plucked this bad boy, and I'll tell you what, you can't grow a unibrow that fast in 5 days. And maybe it's just, I don't know, bad picture images or whatnot, but I'm serious. Check it out. I'll post it on my community page later if anybody's curious. But gun-free zone, could have been carrying and protected himself. Murder with a gun in free zone, exactly. And that's exactly it, Sonny. You know, and you know, the only gun-free zone, with exceptions to law enforcement, you know, I mean, like hospitals or, you know, schools, but you know, they should have people that are authorized to carry and protect in those places. I think it's stupid that you know, I'll have to check out the pictures. Yeah, I'll post them up, Anthony. You know, I mean, my wife pointed it out, and first, you know, I've heard every conspiracy and everything along the line you can think of, but that one I was like, oh shit, you know, you're kind of onto something here, hon. So yeah, I'll post that. But like the gun-free zones, and you guys have always heard me say, criminals, you know, they're going to totally see that sign and think, you know what, we should disarm guys before we go commit this crime, because the crime we're about to go commit is in a gun-free zone, and we don't want to do that. Because criminals are totally going to do the right thing. We can count on them. Fuck, man, gun-free zone. Fuck out of here. That's the dumbest shit ever. But yeah, so you know, that's kind of the rants for this evening. Gun-free zones, I guess. You know, it blows my mind. I mean, you know, another thing that's kind of messed up is, even if the CEO, you know, complete scumbag, whatever type, and all of them are, so I'm just going to go out here on this, being my personal opinion, it was still a murder. You know, regardless, we are citizens of this country. If this person's trying to make a statement on insurance and there's some ill stuff going on that had happened to them, I personally think it's a group of people. I don't think it was just one person, to be honest with you, now that I look at it more. But you know, why did it have to get to the point where somebody would snap and go do this stuff to make a point and statement? It's kind of like French Revolution style, you know, poor people are starving and dying. Meanwhile, let them have cake, etc. But I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's not a gun issue. It's a murder. Anything along the line after that, I don't know. It's just, that's just all my personal opinion, guys. But I'm gonna keep dropping more HK stuff coming out. What else we got on the agenda here? I don't know. I think I might do some stuff on suppressors. I don't think I've really done a whole lot on here with that. I've been kind of eerie about which firearms I have and things that I put on the internet, but I don't know. I mean, my suppressors are all legal. I have tax stamps for all of them, but they're not hard to. It's really not that hard to make a suppressor. You don't even need to know how to use a lathe or anything. You can buy tubing, you can drill a hole, you can buy some aluminum. Oh yeah, thanks, Sonny. Make some baffles for it. You can make an improvised one pretty quick. But and you know, one thing with suppressors too, though, it doesn't get debunked enough. Suppressors, yes, they make the gun more quiet. The main reason we ever use suppressors, though, is because it prevents the flash of your muzzle. Your muzzle flash is more dangerous for people to go off than the noise. Rifle with a suppressor like a 5.56, you're still gonna have noise. 22s are quiet, but you still need subsonic ammunition for all of these as well. And depending on the size of your suppressor and the baffle design, I mean, there's a lot of variables. But like movies, you just hear that little whatever. I mean, it's yeah, it's not like that. It's louder. You just don't want to give away position from muzzle blast, especially if you're, you know, covering for people. You're a sniper or something like that. You don't want to give away position, because after that first shot, if somebody sees that flash, they can pretty much tell where you're at. Um, so these are just things to think about with it. Suppressors, I don't know. I think they're freaking badass. I mean, who doesn't love suppressors? Who doesn't love that James Bond shit? But the thing I really like about them is the recoil management with them. I mean, dude, you can just pop rounds off, and it's like feels like your arm's not even budging. But suppressor would do. It's my understanding that a suppressor would aid a 22. Oh yeah. Well, Antonino, and I know you're a lot of people that watch this as well, in the mob genre and mafia stuff, mafia hitmen, they love 22s because of how quiet they are, how light they are. You can get right up close and just pump them out real fast. I mean, it's one of the more popular assassin weapons, and 22s are fun, man. I mean, I'll bust out the 22s. My kids love 22s. You pop off a shit ton of rounds and you don't feel like you're broke and, you just blew all your money and I don't know. I have a blast with 22s, but, they're just as lethal. I mean, but like with suppressors, you hit 22s, it's still going to make some noise. You get subsonic ammo, it's going to reduce that quite a bit. You're still going to hear the firearm operating, especially if it's blowback system like all pistols are. But I mean, I don't know. I think that'll. You know what? I think we'll do that for the next debunking thing. We did hollow points. We'll do it with suppressors. The other one that I really want to debunk, because I think it's another way ridiculous restriction in law, whatever, is having the pistol brace on your machine pistols, whether it be a AR, MP5, AK, one of the Dracos, whatever. And because they talk about people using them as cheaper than 5.56. Hell yeah, shit, man, 5.56. Let's see. I mean, even just like the cheap range rounds, or if you want to buy just steel casing ones that are like Tulamo or Wolf, you're looking at like $9, $10 for a box of 25 or whatever. But yeah, 22, man, shit, 100 rounds, nothing. And but I don't know. I think debunking some of these things with that suppressors definitely be a good one. Arm braces. What's funny to me, you don't need a buttstock on any type of machine pistol to be able to shoulder it, but they consider it a short-barreled rifle. Your buffer tube alone, you can use that as a shoulder, buttstock for your shoulder to help with recoil management on any of your AR pistols and shit like that. So I just think it's so funny that a little piece of plastic or rubber that goes around the end of it in Velcro so you can strap it down to your arm to brace it is going to make it more dangerous when it's not. It's just like suppressors. Suppressors don't make guns more dangerous. The gun still does the same thing it's going to do without a suppressor, except it won't go as far, and it's from long distance away, it's not going to be as accurate. I mean, these are just things that they're the most simple arguments, and it's the basics of science and common sense. But, then again, you've got people who think red tip tracer rounds or critical defense rounds, hollow points with the red polymer tips, they think they're heat seekers. I mean, it's fucking crazy. I got people that have, when I've shot tracer rounds on my channel, I've had people comment like, dude, you got to take this down. ATF's going to come after you. No, they're not. You can walk right into any Cabela's, or you can walk into any Bass Pro Shops, Shills, or any big sporting goods store that sells firearms and firearm ammo, especially out here in Redneckville where I live, and buy as much tracer rounds and shit as you want. I mean, it's, hollow points, the hollow point thing that I debunked. People think that hollow points are like 100 times worse than ball ammo, which is, tell you what, hollow points kill people. If you're going to hit somebody, it's more humane in my opinion. You hit somebody with the ball ammo, in the math and science and statistics and things like that I did on the hollow point video just shows that most of the time it goes right through people, and you're not going to get as good of a desired effect. Now, I don't know. So it's just funny because the people that don't know anything about firearms are the people that think whatever these things are that makes them so dangerous. I mean, I'll shut the hell up here in a second. I'm bringing it to the end here, guys. Thanks for bearing with me. But like, when President Joe Biden said a 9mm, whoa, man, no, you don't know. That'll like way too powerful, man. A 9mm. will blow the lung out of the body. You know, it's shit like that, and it's like, okay. Then later on, get a shotgun, man. Just a double barrel shotgun. I just told my wife, fire 2 rounds outside the house. Nobody's coming in your house. It's like, okay, dude, you hit somebody with a shotgun, even birdshot at a close enough range. I mean, come on, dude. 9mm, on the other hand, goes right through it. I mean, it's 22s, man. I mean, good thing about shooting people with those, they bounce around and fuck things up all over the place. But anyways, guys, that's my rants for this evening. I'll keep the videos coming. You guys all enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you guys soon. What?